winemastery.co.uk. This is Gin Fun at Wine Mastery, where we're exploring all things gin, and we have the great honour and the great pleasure of being at Divine Distillery in Yorkshire. So if you've seen the previous parts, you've got an idea of what we're at. We're now going to taste some raspberry gin from Mr.
Woolhead.
Ray. That's Mr. Ray Woolhead. So, in the previous part, we tasted the raspberry. It was rather
Bit harsh, bit coarse. I'd call it coarse.
It reminded me of Josephine.
Who's she?
She was a girl I used to go out with.
Oh, that's no question. Josephine, if you're watching.
Yeah, you know.
Probably not.
But you know, Cuddles, I really love you. So we're now going to try some raspberry gin with some tonic and see how. We didn't particularly like it neat.
It was a style that wasn't there.
It wasn't to our
We're
liking.
not pretending it isn't anything here, are we? We know what flavoured gin's about.
Yes, yeah.
Flavoured gin is a craze where people who are being introduced to gin for the first time will like it, and then they will move on to more premium gins. Yeah.
Yeah, almost like the alcopop of
A little bit, but we've tried to sort of bypass that a little bit. There's whereas I've shown these guys the process about how we infuse the raspberries here. But it is an infusion process, and how we squeeze them. We take it down to a concentrate at the very end to put it in, but it is just the raspberries that we put in. Neat, it's a little bit too strong, but we want the flavour to come through. We want the flavour to come through the mixer, the tonic, whatever we put in, and hopefully that's what these guys are going to taste here.
Okay, and what tonic are we using?
We're using the elderflower tonic here.
Okay.
Just has a bit of sweetness. Raspberries aren't particularly sweet. They've got a little bit of a tart taste to them.
Josephine.
comes back to Josephine.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of tart. So that just adds a little bit of sweetness to it. We've just tasted it a couple of moments ago, and it was just a little bit too much. And I think you'll see how much it's changed now as you taste this.
Could I just clarify one thing?
Yeah.
Uncle Bernard, I didn't mean Auntie Josephine. Just.
Nothing.
Just in case. Right. Okay.
Off you go.
I must say, like, Ray, I mean, I love Divine anyway, and this is
still a gin.
Yeah,
It's still a gin.
Is it strong?
This is 40%. The Divine's the London Dry Gin's 42%. This is 40%.
So the short answer is no.
So yeah, very. Yeah, very little between that. Of all the gins and combinations we've tried, this is one that most interests me because, as I've said to Ray, I'm a bit of a purist. Will I like it? Won't like it? And he's assured me that how this is made, that I will like it.
And this is my only third gin that I've tasted in my life that is flavoured.
Okay.
So.
I'm gonna have to get straight to it.
Oh, it smells like a fruit bowl.
See how it's changed?
Yeah.
See how it's changed?
Absolutely.
Okay, I never doubted you. I never doubted.
You did?
No, I didn't. I didn't doubt you. It's changed though.
But you'll still get that earthy, rooty flesh flavour of a raspberry out of it.
Okay.
Okay. I'm surprised that actually with the raspberry, I was getting that, but I can still smell the gin behight it. I can still smell the Divine behind it.
It's such a bold gin that it'll fight through.
I'm going to give you that as well. Where if there's a drink I really like, I could spend 10 minutes smelling it before actually appreciating the flavour. And I'm going to give you that with this. So far, I've not tried it yet though.
Do you spend 10 minutes with everything?
Most things.
Is that all?
No, I'm 40 now.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing.
No, you just said you were 40.
No, I thought. Oh, God damn.
Anyway.
Go on.
See, I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with our raspberry. All depending on the mood, the weather. If it's a beautiful sunny day, I can't think of anything more that I prefer. Yeah, but on other times I'm like, oh, I'm not sure. But it's really grows on me. What do you think, John?
Well, I don't know if I've got time to say what I think. Because, first of all, I'm going to bow down to you. Because you're right. I'm a purist in my gin, and I do like my gin to taste like gin. Once the tonic's got in there, I will give you that. Because it doesn't have, like, the very first raspberry gin I tasted had a sweetness about it.
There's no sweetness in it. It's not sweet at all.
Not so. It holds true to that. I said the gin is the underlying strength there. You can really, for me, pulls it out, and then at the end it says that hint of that kind of raspberry, which just freshens it, or just kind of just gives it a little, makes it a little lighter up. Not subtle, but for me,
an earthy freshness out of it. So I pull.
I'll give you the freshness, definitely. I can understand why you'd be torn between those. I think right now we are coming into winter, and so if you were to say, and I can see how much different tasting that on a summertime, if you were doing that as a tasting, and people say, imagine that on the summer light.
Yeah.
That is, all right. I'm not going to say I'm wrong, because I'm not. I'm not going to say I'm wrong, but that is actually quite lush.
But that comes back to the mood, doesn't it?
What do you think, John?
I really like it. I think it's completely different. But because my palate isn't as sophisticated as you guys, I'm just getting much more of the raspberry. On the nose, I could still smell the gin behind it, but I'm not getting that on the palate.
Do you get a sweetness of raspberry or an earthiness of raspberry?
And I get an aftertaste. Strangely, I don't know if this is probably just me, but I get an aftertaste of strawberry for some reason. I don't know why.
You might just be associating the berry thing.
Maybe the sweetness at the end. I don't know.
I don't particularly get, like you say, an earthiness, but it doesn't have. For me, it doesn't have the sweetness, and that's the making of it. It's the wrong time of year for us to be trying it, but even now, can you imagine? Obviously, I've had a few gins, but can you imagine? I know it's a surprise for you, but can you imagine, honestly, on that summer's day having that? Still at 40%, still tasting.
Yeah, it's a proper gin. It's a gin. It's a gin. No sugar.
And that's something we've kind of touched upon. But these liqueurs, I mean, the big one at the moment is the Parma Violet.
Yeah, that's a fantastically popular gin. Yeah, bringing lots of people into the gin culture.
But it's just not really a gin, though, is it?
It's only 20%, isn't it?
Well, that's obviously liqueur, but there's nothing wrong with it.
No,
there's a lot right with it. There's a lot wrong with it.
Well, it's also, of course, again, and like we were saying, if we relate this to the wine world, where we spoke about 20 years ago, a lot of people didn't really drink wine, or the wine they did drink was the Liebfraumilch, or the Hock, what was it, Blue Nun, Black Tower, which were very sweet wines, but it got people actually drinking wine. And now you look 20 years later, people have kind of gone off those, and the taste buds have changed, and as such, I'm not going to say classier wines or classier gins as such, but it is getting people into drinking or trying new things.
Of course it is, and then people realise what's available in the marketplace, and they move on to more cultured, if you will, different.
Yeah, I think the problem that we have here is that, and I'm just going through that same mental anguish, is that we're trying to think of it as a gin. Now, if you take away trying to think of it as a gin and just actually think about the taste of the drink, it is divine.
Yeah, you still get the underlying flavour of divine in there.
I like what you did there, John. I like it.
But seriously, it is. No, if you, because I think sometimes we get wrapped up a bit like, I don't so much because I don't understand what a wine should taste like, but sometimes I can sense you get wrapped up in what it should taste like because of Cabernet Sauvignon or a Merlot.
Yeah, you've got a set thing in your mind.
Yeah, I'm just tasting what it tastes like. And if I taste it in isolation and forget the divine gin that we've tasted, and this is not the divine gin, and just taste that as a drink, it is divine.
There's a question for you. Should I have capitulated to public pressure to make a flavoured gin, or should I have just stuck with doing London Dry gin?
Yeah. Well, you first, John. But
I think that my answer would be that if making a flavoured gin would compromise your production of the dry gin, then no. If from a commercial point of view that it didn't, then yes.
It hits a different marketplace for us.
Absolutely different marketplace, yeah.
It does. We sell as much raspberry gin as we do London Dry.
Do you?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. To different sectors.
Yeah.
Different sectors of the market take different gins by a long shot, but we sell.
But as we said, I think in every part of this episode, it is really down to your own palate.
Yeah,
and you know, I can't tell you that just because I think this is divine, that you are going to. On the other hand, you know, you may even think it's better than I do. So it is just down to your own palate. And as you say, always say, John, if everyone
have
likes,
converted you, John.
Yeah.
Turned you back to the dark side.
Just like this. It's never going to happen. But no, I do. I must admit.
You see where I'm coming from? You see what I'm trying to express with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you were the first time Ray made me try his raspberry gin a long time ago.
It was, yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Ones, yeah.
And I was. I wasn't completely against it, but I was kind of saying it's not for me. I don't think that's the way forward, kind of thing. Stick with the London Dry. And I still stand by that from back then, because the raspberry gin I tasted back then is a million miles away from what we've got here.
Yeah, it is. We've taken a big development on from where we were first. You've got to move on. You've got to listen to what people say to you.
Of course,
You've got to, but still try to keep within the ethos and the ethics. Ethos
and the
ethics of what you started with the London Dry.
Yeah.
This is all natural. It is just raspberries, you know, squeezed and squeezed and squeezed. You know, the more you squeeze, the more flavour you get out.
Well, really, what I would like to say is 2 years to a little bit years ago, we came to see you and taste your product back then, and. You know, I remember the discussion in the car saying on the way there, you know, what if it isn't good? Then
what are we going to say?
No, we discussed what, you know, when we do these things, we thought, well, you never know what you're going to get into. And I remember coming away from it and saying, well, trying it, if you look back at the videos, how much we enjoyed it. And 2 years on, and you're still doing more than
more than could be asked.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, should we just try a little bit of a garnish in here now while we're at it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, let's try a little bit of mint in here, because the raspberry mint goes really, really well. Let's try
Raspberry and mint?
Yeah.
You squeezing the leaves?
Yeah, no. This is more for the fragrance that you're smelling for now.
So do you not need to squeeze it?
I was going to
smell that now.
You can smell it already, just outside then.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Okay,
we did think about adding mint as a garnish. Sorry, not as a garnish. It was one of the botanicals within the distillation process. But if you do that, what do you add as a garnish?
Yes.
You need to add something else to it, don't you?
Who decided this? You or Rachel?
Rachel.
Well done, Rachel.
Rachel has the palate. Rachel has the palate. I am very, very.
Well, the other thing with adding the mint free is that I don't know what percentage, but you're pushing a percentage of people away.
You need to have a gin, or you need to have a flavour that you can add something to with a garnish. Yeah. If you put everything into the gin, you're only adding more in there, aren't you? You're only adding more in.
Well, even I can detect that adds something to it, actually.
This again adds to so much more of that freshness. Now again, we're coming to winter time here.
No, that's particularly fresh, isn't it?
Yeah.
We are drinking this at this time of year. If we were to have drunk this in the summer, we would that. It's still amazingly delicious now. But if we were to take it then, that'd be.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, a few years ago, mint meant something different to youth culture, didn't it?
Yeah, mint like.
Yeah, mint. But I guess.
Sorry, Adam.
That's right. I guess it's the equivalent now of dope, but I don't think you could put that in.
There's no dope in there.
No.
There's no dope in there.
No.
There's a question.
No, you can't. There's no dope gin.
There's no dope gin. I was in Prague the other day, and I think there was.
Was it?
Yeah, there was definitely dope.
Or was it just dope in your gin?
No, I don't know. I don't know what the other half does. Could have been anything.
But yeah, again, we go back to garnish. It changes it again, doesn't it?
Yep.
The flavour. So a lot of that flavour's on your nose as well.
And I'm completely relieved to be able to be actually sort of in accord with you two guys, because before I've been a little bit out of sync because my palate isn't as good. There's probably a lot of viewers, and I can actually taste the difference with that. That is very, very nice.
So what do you think, John? Are you sweet?
Yeah. Well,
Are you just saying that?
no, I'm not just saying that. But what I will say is that right now I find that absolutely delicious, refreshing. It's very fresh. Right now, it's not something I would drink on an ordinary evening. But then, for me, I do like
I understand it.
the full-on neat gin. But I must say, mine has definitely been changed.
You see what I'm trying to get people to drink it as a gin rather than a flavour.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. But then looking at again, when we go back to the flavoured, it is flavoured, whereas this is not. This is infused. I don't think there's a massive difference there.
Yeah.
There's a flavouring. When we look at on the market, you've got the shimmering, all this.
But I think the difference is doing it naturally and I think buying a product. I mean, what one is buying is a boutique product, and I guess some people can buy sort of alcohol and just add sort of syrup to it and make it taste nice. Where this is actually, a
And I think it's quite obvious that this has been made with absolute love, tried and tested. 36 different...
No, not for that.
No, but that shows the
commitment.
And
the passion. Yeah.
I don't know how you did it, 36 and then, but no, it really just shows, because it can be quite a simple thing. I assume, I don't know, I don't mention, but it could be quite simple to have a very bog standard gin, well, just alcohol and then add a syrup or whatever into that and create a flavour, which again would be the alcopop of discerning taste bud, but that really is good.
Yeah, really excellent.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well,
you've done it twice. All right.
we haven't had to click into what if we don't like it mode.
Have you?
No, we didn't.
Or is this click it in mode?
Can you tell the difference?
I don't know, can I?
No, this is genuine mode. So, we might as well wrap it up there. I think this has been an absolutely splendid experience. It's really good. Thank you very much for inviting us.
No problem at all.
It was 2 years ago. And
I have a cocktail if you want to try that as well.
Oh, well, okay. Let's make another part of this video and have a cocktail.
There's no way I'm going to say no to a cocktail. After tasting that.
You love a cocktail, don't you?
Especially if it's twins.
I have no idea who you've been talking to. My wife will complain.
We'll see you in the next part. Gin.
Gin.